is the life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by, it doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown. When I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I am whole again? Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all, I had a feeling but the feeling is all gone. Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all, I had a feeling but the feeling.
At some point last week, we went for dinner to a restaurant close by to our house with two friends of ours. And it's relatively close to our house because we live about 3 minutes away from the beach by car. And these friends, Mario and I, we were sitting on the couch. It was already evening, and they called and they were like, "Hey, we're leaving our house in half an hour. We're going to this restaurant close to you. Do you guys want to join us?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And it was I took a shower, put a bit of makeup on, and we went. But it was such a nice evening, and I miss those kind of impromptu, those spontaneous kind of meetings, not just meetings. In general, I find that life now compared to when I was younger and also to those of my parents is much more scheduled, and it's much more, when people get together, I see that it's more on surface, not that the connections are surface, but there is basically when people come to our house, it's entertaining. But before I remembered that, you would call a friend and say, "Hey, are you in? I'm coming for a coffee." And if you are free, you would say, "Yeah, sure." And if you are not free, you would say, "Hey, I can't, I have something to do." But there would be this kind of more personal relationship between people, and it spreads to many different areas of our life. It spreads that kind of superficial. It also lasts, I don't know if you can connect it, but in my mind it does connect. Last week I showed you that jumper that I bought, commercial jumper, and I said when I went to the shop and I was touching materials, things felt squeaky. Rather than, everything seems to become more plastic these days, from clothes to relationships and other things that we do. That's how I connect it in my mind. And I have some other things that I'm thinking about in that domain, but I'm not really going to get into now. It's just because I had the footage of that evening when we went out for dinner, that spontaneous, just deciding on a whim, let's go and meet up, and we had such a nice time. So I wanted to also thank you very much for all of you who were following my Vlogtober, and a lot of you really enjoyed the videos. Some of the messages that you have sent me on YouTube and privately truly touched me, because I didn't know the impact that I can have on somebody so far away. So thank you very much for supporting me, and I'm humbled by some of your comments in how you tell me that these videos have helped you, really. Sometimes you think, okay, that's why you do all this, even though I enjoy doing all this, but sometimes I question myself. And when I get those comments, which I'm not going to share because they were very private, but sometimes when I get those comments and when I see the impact that I have on somebody's life that I have never met, even by doing and just putting a camera to simple daily lives, to my daily life, then it kind of says, okay, that's why I'm doing this. So I wanted to thank you for your support. It was a lot of work, I can tell you that. On a lighter note, October is a lot of work, and I don't know if I'm going to be doing it again. However, it did make me more at ease. It did teach me some things, which I can't ask for more than that. Because I had to release videos more often, it taught me that not every video has to be perfect, not every video has to be polished, that I can just show up, put the camera on and, release what I have. And that was a big thing in my mind, because before I thought like, oh, every video needs to be in some form or the other epic, whether it's a certain message or in projects that I was making. And even though I was recording mostly my everyday life always, but there was always this pressure that I was putting on myself of making each video really good, until, striving for perfection, whatever that is in that level where I am, that I can hit. But Vlogtober kind of taught me that no, you know what, even if some videos, like I had one video that was out of focus when I was talking about my candle business in the bedroom, it's like, no, I'm putting it out there. And I think it also has to do with this thing that I was telling you about the connection that we have with people, and things being, whether material things or relationship things, being more plastic now, quote unquote plastic, than real. So that this teach me a lot. So what I think I'm going to be doing from now on is just, picking up the camera more or less every day, recording what I record, and just, whenever I think I have enough, just putting it out there. Not necessarily a schedule. I'll definitely try to stick to this once a week schedule. But if I have a short video in between, then I will release it, and whatever it is, even if it's to kind of show you, oh, look, I bought a new yarn, or I knitted a new sock, or something like that. But that kind of impromptu, the way that my friends called me to go for dinner. So, okay, I made a little note here what I want to say on this scrap piece of paper. This video I started recording like a vlog, and I have some sections that I have already recorded, but I'm not going to include it in this video, because next Saturday, on the 16th of November, we're doing this knitathon that Pia from Traveling Miss Knits, she organizes every year or twice a year, I believe. And that is when knitters all over the world, they get together basically for 24 hours and they knit on whatever project that they're going to make. I don't think I'm going to be knitting for 24 hours, but what Pia does, she organizes different podcasters, different channels, to fill the slots of those 24 hours so we can keep company to the people that are participating in the knitathon. And I'm going to do that, but my slot, as most of them, is 1 hour long. So I need to fill that 1 hour with footage. Some people, they go live, although I'm kind of afraid to go live in case something goes wrong and I don't know how to fix, the technology, the internet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be recording the vlog, compiling it, and set it up as a premiere, which means that when it's on, I'm going to be watching it with you guys and being able to chat with you in the comments. So that's going to be that. That's 16th of November, Saturday. My slot is 7 o'clock in the evening, Central European time. But you will see it. I'm going to set it up as a premiere. That leads me to another thing before I show you some of the things that I'm making. Is I got a question in one of my videos about if I can suggest or tell you some of the podcasts, knitting podcasts that I like to watch. And that is a great idea that I can, because there is no way that I can put all of them in one video. It would be one really long video. But what I can do is maybe every once in a while or every episode kind of tell you one or two that I enjoy watching. And I thought for this time I'm going to share a few of the European channels that I like, and I would also like to include or start off with channels that have less subscribers than I do, or similar roundabout number, because some of the very large channels, even though I do watch them, but you're more likely to know about them, and I will mention those in the future as well. It's just now on top of my mind, I would like to mention some of them that maybe you didn't hear about them. Pia, you probably did hear about her and you watch her. I do definitely. The reason why I enjoy her channel is, and each one of these channels is very different. But Pia, she's from Traveling Miss Knits. I'm going to link these channels that I'm talking about in the description below. The colors that she chooses and the things that she makes, that is pretty much my wardrobe, but on another person. So every time she makes something, I would be like, ooh, I'll take that. Ooh, yeah, I'll take that. And her, so everything, the colors that she that she uses, it just like, it is completely my style. And also her apartment, her house, I love the way that she decorated her interior design style as well. So that is Pia from Traveling Miss Knits. The second one that I mentioned last video when I showed you the socks that I received from Anina. Anina is a Finnish podcaster, but she's a knitwear designer. Aniuti Knits, that is also going to be linked underneath. Anina is a friend of mine that I met last year in Barcelona, although I did watch her channel before. She lives in Finland, and she's a very special lady. She's in her 30s, she has 2 young boys, and she's a very talented designer. In fact, I have one of her patterns for her blanket that she released last year that feels very, very, I'm drawn to it, and I would really like to make. But obviously the blanket, it's a long-term project, so I'm just kind of thinking, do I do it from the beginning of the year, or do I not even think about it and cast on whenever I'm going to cast on? Now the one issue is with knitted blankets for me, and that is a personal thing. Even though I love the feel of them, they're tricky because I have cats, so cats kind of go into the knitting. So if I have a knitted blanket, I need to felt it. And that's why I usually go for crochet blankets, because the fabric gets a bit thicker. But she does have a beautiful, it's Zigzag Zen, I think it's called, blanket. I'll try to link that as well. Oh, I'm promising all these links, but so Aniuti Knits is another one, and I'll share another 2 that I really enjoy. The third one is Sam from Irish Farm Art, and he's Italian and he lives in Ireland. I watched him since he just started the channel. He just started it, and I started watching him, and I really enjoyed his content. He's also an illustrator. He's a lawyer, but he's also an illustrator, and he shares some of his art, which I really enjoy because I'm an artist as well. So I really enjoy watching when he shows some of his drawings and illustrations and paintings as well as knitting. So check Sam out as well. And the fourth one that I'm going to mention is Made by Mumino. Mumino is, I think her name is Catherine, and I'm going to really beat myself up if I got the name wrong. Because I didn't watch her for that long now, but I am watching her for the past 6 months or so. She's a lady from Wales, but she lives in Germany. Now, this woman, every time I hear her speak, the sound of her voice and the melodic way that she talks, it just feels like a balm to my soul. It's just so comforting and so relaxing that it's like, I said to Mario, it's like drinking a glass of warm milk when you were a kid. And I do have some other examples of that make me feel like that. Like, for example, the voice of James Taylor in music does that to me. But as far as podcasters, she's my James Taylor of knitting. And I really, really enjoy the way that she talks. And obviously her projects are beautiful as well. But sometimes the things that attract us initially, they can be different. So Made by Mumino, and I will link that as well. Okay, so now I'm going to show you just quickly the things that I made. I finished my mom's jumper, finally. This was the whole thing during October, and I ran out of yarn. But I ran out of yarn to have this little bit, to finish this little bit of a sleeve. I finished it. It's really nice. It's big on me. So what I'm going to do, either stop this now and record the footage of me trying the jumper, but just have in mind that this is for my mom, so it's going to be a bit big for me. Or I'm going to finish the whole video here and then record and just edit the footage in. But the jumper is done, and it has those bracelet sleeves that I wanted. It's made in Drop Sky, that I already have 2 jumpers out of that, and I have knitted more in them for my mom and my sister. This is the color that I used this time. It is the color 20. And it's this dark green. I think it's the only dark green. So Drop Sky, because sometimes I heard people think that like they get the wrong impression. I think Diane from Island Lamb Knits, she thought that it was Drops Flora, even though I do use Drops Flora as well, but she thought that that's what I was knitting my mom's jumper. And another lady, she wrote to me and she goes, I thought you were using Drops Bell. I was like, I never use Drops Bell or something like that. This is Drop Sky. And the jumper came out really nice. I really didn't need a lot of yarn to finish it. So these are 50-gram balls, and this is how much I have left from the skein that I have to go in order to finish my mom's jumper. And because for myself I need usually 4.5 balls of 4.5 50-gram balls. For my mom I needed just a bit over 5 balls. So I got another 5, so that way I'm going to have enough to make myself a jumper as well, and I really like this color. Now somebody was asking me about what do I think about Drop Sky in the long run. In general, Drop Sky is probably one of my favorite yarns in the way that the finished garment comes out. It is very lightweight, flowy, but not silky like a lot of superwash yarns have. This is not superwash. This is, oh God, I didn't bring my glasses, but this is 74% alpaca, 18% polyamide, and 8% wool. It is a chainette construction, and very, very, not fluffy as in hairy. It's just, it's airy. It kind of fills in the jumper with not that much weight of the yarn, if that makes any sense. And I love working with it. I also did tell you one time that I did find when I was putting the sleeves on hold, when I was putting them on that stitch holder cord, and I lost the needle for a second, and that was pain in the butt, because in order to kind of weave it back in, that was difficult for me because it's chain net construction, and then the needle kept on going through the chain and all that. That is the only issue that I found with it. So now I know that when I'm doing that, I need to use really sharp needles. So when I put the cord on the needle in order to like weave it in the stitches that I'm keeping on hold, that it's not going to slip off. Otherwise, I'm very happy with the yarn, but I cannot tell you about the longevities. That I think that's the word, because I have one in beige color with some black color work, and I have one in like black charcoal gray color. Now that one, the black one, I wore a lot, and there is pilling to it. However, that is quite normal with other jumpers. Thing is that I don't really mind because it's black, so even if I clean it and a few pills stay here and there, I don't really mind. But I don't know how it's going to work on lighter colored ones and on the one that I have in beige. I didn't experience the problem yet, but I really didn't wear it enough. So I can't tell you as far as that how I feel about it in the long run, but I can tell you that it washed fine, and they seem to be fine, the jumpers that I have. But have in mind that it's very soft, and that the black one that I wore quite a bit, that one pilled. Okay, so hopefully, and now you're going to see my mom's jumper, whether you have seen it or you're going to see it now, of me trying it on. But let me show you one more time. Oh, it's wrong way around. And on this one, because this is my in and out raglan recipe, which you can find on my website, it's a free recipe. What I did is I did do 2 short rows around the neck to raise the neckline a bit, and then I did my usual 1 short row every 16th round. But in this case, I did add 2 more short rows around the neck, so I can make it a bit, more round like this, like this t-shirt. Okay, that's my mom's jumper. Now, another thing that I was showing you, I was telling you that I make Christmas gifts usually and birthday gifts. I tend to do them throughout the year. At the beginning of the year, I make a list of everything that I would like to buy or make, and then I make them throughout the year without any pressure, put them aside, and then once Christmas comes or somebody's birthday, I have ready gifts. And this year I was pairing the scarves that I bought for family. I was pairing with handmade double knitted hats. And I had only one more hat to finish for my nephew, because the scarf that I had for him is this scarf. And I had just one more hat to finish for him. And I have already made for everybody else, including my niece, his sister, and her fiance. However, they are not going to be here for New Year's because they live in UK, and normally we celebrate New Year's together. However, this year they are not going to be here. And then I'm not going to be preparing gifts for them because they're already in their 20s. So it's not as if they're like little kids and then I'm going to send them gifts. I'm not going to do that. This year I'm not going to be giving them gifts since we're not going to be celebrating together. But because I have already made the same kind of hat that I was going to make for my nephew, for my niece's fiance, I'm going to use that one to match the scarf that I have for my nephew, and it goes perfectly. This is the double layer hat. They're both my handspun yarn. This one here, the beige one, it's a bunch of fibers. It's merino, alpaca, camel, silk. I think that those are the ones. And this part here, this is Shetland and silk. And they're both my hand spun, so he could wear either way, whatever side he wants to wear. And kind of have the other color showing as a brim. But these colors, they go great with the scarf, because there is this beige and there is that dark brown. So I'm finished with all the Christmas gifts, and I didn't even know. I thought that I had to make another hat, but I was done. However, I did start making a hat for my nephew when I didn't know that I was already finished. And I started making it in this blue color in drop snored. But because when I realized that I didn't need to finish it, then I thought, you know what, let me just experiment with this hat. And I'm going to continue, make it a double layer hat as well. Continue with the blue, because I already have almost one half ready. Continue with the blue and do the other side as a mosaic stitch, because lately I've been really into designing mosaic charts. Maybe I'm going to release some things, maybe to release those charts at one point. I'm not sure, but for now I'm just experimenting. In the last episode you saw me making mosaic socks, and that was like me playing with them, which I really like, by the way. I think my next project is going to be a pair of mosaic socks. But this is the hat that I got. Now I didn't wash it, so it's not blocked. The stitches are going to be, obviously, they're going to relax and lie more flat. But inside is this blue that I started the hat with. It's drop snored. Both yarns are drop snored. So I use this blue color, and I don't know the number now, and I don't have the ball with me. And the other one is white. So this is how the hat turned out. It's really cool, really cool. And the mosaic stitch, I find it addictive, and what I like about it is it's that it's stretchy, opposite to stranded color work, and also that I'm working with just one color at a time. So I do have this hat now. I didn't weave in this last bit in the end, because I want to block it with this yarn just hanging out, and then see if I'm going to attach a pom-pom, maybe white pom-pom on top of this. But I did want to show you that. I'm going to show it to you again once it's blocked, but I wanted to show you because I finished it last night. It's just off the needles. And the rest of the stuff is just really handspun yarn, but I have handspun yarn. I have finished that half a kilo of carded fiber that you saw during Vlogtober, that I carded by myself. It's Corriedale, Merino and Llama in natural shades, and I have carded 500 grams of fiber so I can spin the yarn for myself, and I have quite a bit of fiber left, which I'm going to probably card and put those bats for sale, but they are not on my website just yet. I will let you know when they're on. But I do have first I wanted to make enough yarn so I can make a project for myself, and then whatever fiber stays, then I can card them up, put them in the shop, and also use that as my own stash as well. So if I need fiber, I can just pick it from there, reduce one quantity from the shop, but that way we can kind of have one big pot of the fiber that you could buy or I can use. But now I know that I have enough of this yarn for a project. So it's 500 grams. And I love it when I spin yarn, because I spin pretty much woolen, and I make bats, and then I even make them like a row log, and I draft from there. So all the fibers are all jumbled up. They're not aligned like a comb top. So I kind of do, it's not really a long draw, but it's like, I don't know, half long draw. I wouldn't even know what is that called. I was never taught technical spinning. I let basically the spin enter the fiber, And the result that I get is a woolen spun yarn. I don't smooth it out. And that's why, even though it looks very thin when it's in singles, once I apply it and wash it, it fluffs up because it gets filled with air. So usually what I get is like Aran weight as far as my hand spun yarn is concerned. So that's one of my latest spins. I have 500 grams of this fiber, and we are going to see what it's going to become. And as the last thing, I have finished the second bat of that purple fiber that I got in Edinburgh when I went earlier in the spring. And I got 2 bats from Woolly Wool Gathering. They were not the same, but still in this kind of purplish shades. And I spun up the first one that you have already seen, and now I spun up the second one. The bats were, I think, 150 grams each, but when I applied it, because I just spun them as singles, I applied it with a strand of like dark purple aubergine merino cobweb weight, as well as a strand of similar color but a bit lighter of cobweb cashmere. So I kind of got double the yardage. I think I got out of 250 gram bats, which is 300 grams, I think I got about 600 grams of fiber when I applied them with these yarns. And now I really don't know what I'm going to do with this. The first bat was a real pleasure to spin, whereas the second one, it gave me a bit of trouble. There was a lot of slabs. The fiber was a bit stuck together. I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I had it packed like that since springtime, or is it the way that it was carded? I'm not sure, but it did give me trouble, and that's the latest one that has some blue in it. Let me try to kind of put everything together like this. So this is the first one that I spun that you saw, and this is the second one. So now the second one has some yellows and blues as well. But if I do want to pair it, I think I could pair it and make a really large shawl, possibly even maybe a lap blanket, or I could do a jumper, start off with this towards my neck and then move on to this one for the bottom of the jumper, and then use this for a shrug. I'm still thinking. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it, but it's done. And now it makes me think, what do I do when I have fiber, even with this one that I'm going to card? Do I kind of card them fresh and use them up straight away and put them up straight away for sale, and do that in small batches? Because I don't know if this one gave me trouble because it got too compressed. Anyway, this is something to really experiment. But if you have an experience with fiber that you haven't used in a long time, that was in your stash for a long time, tell me if you feel that most of it is difficult to draft, that it's compressed, or sometimes you don't have problem with it. It's just, something that I would like to know, so I know how to approach for myself and for you guys as well. Okay, one more time. And that's that. I thought that this episode is going to be really short, that I'm just going to kind of show up and just show you quickly what I've been making. I thought it's going to be just like a 10 or 15 minute thing, but I got really chatty. I hope you're well, and I'm going to continue recording the vlog, the 1 hour vlog that is going to be premiered next Saturday. So remember, Saturday the 16th of November, at 7 o'clock in the evening, Central European time. But as I said, I'm going to set it up as a premiere, so you will be able to see that. I hope you're well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.